welcome back to Cars of Sweden Live, and today we bring you Bjorn and his wonderful X19. So Bjorn, we can't shake hands, but we'll do some of that. Yeah?
Okay.
So X19 in Sweden, there isn't that many of them, is there?
Not many. I think there's around 100.
100 only.
Yeah.
And I see it says Batone here, right, in Torino as well. I mean, is that a special limited edition kind of X19?
Not really. I mean, they were manufactured by Fiat until 1979, I think.
Okay.
And I mean, Batone, they always manufactured the chassis, but at that time they took it over completely.
Right. And how did you come to get this car? What's the story behind you picking it up?
Actually, well, I was looking for a Lotus, but it became too expensive, so I didn't do it. But I just wanted a lightweight car, so
Right.
I always wanted an X19 as well, since I was 15, 1974 or whatever. Then I said I should buy one of those things.
Right. I mean, mid-engine as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
So that was one of your boxes that you needed to tick.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, this thing, right, I remember as a kid back in England, these were out, and at the same time you had the Triumph TR7s, which was very similar shaped car.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, but this car isn't a standard car, is it?
Standard. I mean, it's not really a standard X19 anymore. I mean, I'm working with it a lot.
All right, let's talk about some of the stuff you've done to this car then. All right, so if I'm looking at the back for a start,
Yeah.
I don't see any this car.
Remove the bumpers. They are, I said 50 kilos, and I would say 50 centimeters as well.
So it's all about saving weight.
Not all about saving weight, but it should look good, of course. And I always like this car without bumpers. I think they should be without bumpers.
I think so as well. I think it looks
Yeah.
I think it looks great. And if we talk about, it's got like a Targa top that normally comes with this car as well, doesn't
Yep.
it? And if we look inside, I can see straight away that you've got a uprated steering wheel. That's not standard, is it?
No, the standard steering wheel is actually a little bit too big for me. I'm too tall for it.
And the seats, I mean, they look gorgeous. They look leather stitched, piped seats.
Not a real leather, but it's some kind of vinyl. I kept the standard patterns though,
Right.
and also the
Door cards as well.
yeah, the door cards are new as well, but that's also the standard pattern.
Right. And if we also look at the dash, you've done something totally original there, haven't you?
No, not really. I mean, it's the standard dash, but then of course I have the Android pad there,
Okay.
and that's for taking care of the ECU, the max ECU.
All right, so you jack that up to work with all the car's information and everything else?
Yeah, I have all the turbo information and the oil pressure, temperatures, and all that stuff in there.
Okay, so how do you keep this car cool?
I keep it cool by removing all bottom panels to improve the airflow from underneath through the engine hood. And when standing still, I have fans for injector and engine, and the oil cooler over there with a small fan.
Right.
And they works good.
And what about the engine? How do you keep the engine cool?
Well, the engine is of course water cooled. Expansion out here, and an expansion for the water to air intercooler here.
Aha. Talk to me about this water to air cooler.
Yeah, the cooler itself is here, and it flows water from the heat exchanger that's in the front of the car then.
Okay.
With a small pump here.
Right, so we can get that. Right. So that is not a standard Uno turbo part.
No, definitely not. I mean, they have standard is a tiny air-to-air intercooler.
Right. I guess because the engine's in the front when those cars are.
Yeah. And actually, there is no good room for a
Right.
air-to-air intercooler in here.
Right. And you put all this together in your garage now, yeah?
Yeah, more or less, yes.
Well, looking at it, it's quite impressive. And what's even more impressive is actually driving in it. But we're going to have to wait for next week's episode to see that, yeah? All right? Because there's far too much information to put in one show. So everybody who wants to see this thing on the road, don't forget to tune into the channel next week. Cars of Sweden Live.